What's going on YouTube? Uberman here. Decided to make another video. I've done this before, but it's a brand new year, so I decided I was going to post another video regarding taxes. Um, if you've made over $600 with Uber over the last year, you will be receiving a 1099 miscellaneous. The way this works is Uber will email it to you. It's very important that you check out the vault. I don't know if you remember it or not, but before you started Uber, they required you to sign into a website that contained what's called the Vault. It's the website that contains your personal information, bank account numbers, routing numbers, your employer identification number, tax identification number, social security number, things like that. You need to make sure that that vault is accurate. You've got to log into it and make sure that your banking information hasn't changed. Um, Make sure your email address and everything still works. Just go in there and make sure your home address, banking information, everything is still up to date. That is exceptionally important. Um, so long as all that's up to date at some point, I don't know when yet, um, but at some point, Uber, actually that's a lie, Uber just sent me an email. Let's see if they answered my question. Um, Thanks for contacting Uber. We're working to resolve your problem as quickly as possible. To help shorten response time, please click the link. If you continue to have a problem with your 1099, please reply to this email. Okay. Okay, so basically another generic response from Uber. I will definitely respond to that later because that's just unacceptable. Instead of answering a direct question, my question to them was very simple. I was very polite, as I always am. I said, I have two accounts, one from Indianapolis, Indiana, and one from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. I gave them the information to both of those accounts. I said, when can I expect my 2014 1099 miscellaneous from these accounts? I have definitely made well over $600 from each account. Thanks in advance, Randy Shear. And their response to me was what I just read, which was basically they sent me right back to the website that I've already been on. I went into my Vault account, and on both accounts, since I have two, I made sure that everything was up to date and correct. Um, I know it's the first, so I can't. I don't expect to have it in my email tomorrow, but I would like to know when I can expect to get started on my taxes. Um, I'm that guy that if the IRS and everybody else was set up and ready to go, I would have my taxes filed January 1st. I don't put it off. I like getting it done and getting it out of my hair. Um, but anyway, um, the first step is going into the vault, making sure that all of your information is completely up to date and accurate. Um, Now, you should get an email if everything is working properly from Uber with your 1099. Um, it will have a link that you can click and it will take you directly to your 1099. From that point, it's got all your information. You can print a hard copy off, which you should do for your records. Remember, taxes go back 3 years, so you need to keep that copy for 3 years. And then you can start pitching them out and just keep them up to date for 3 years. Um, Next step, once you get that, if you do not get it, if you do not click the link and open that email, then Uber will send you a hard copy to the address that you have listed on file with them. Um, so if you don't get the email, but check your spam folder. Sometimes things go to spam folders, but you should get it in an email. If not, if you never access the link, then they will mail you a hard copy. You can go from there. But the main thing that I want to discuss on it, I'm not there. There are a lot of different things that go into doing your taxes. When you're an independent contractor, I've always filed a Schedule C. I will be filing Schedule C again this year. The only difference this year for me will be um, instead of just cost of goods sold and all of that and expenses and things, I will be adding the 1099s from these two different states into the mix, which is very simple to do. There's nothing to it. It's almost like a W-2. You just take information from the 1099 and you plug it in there. From there, there's a lot of controversy regarding the ability to take out a deduction for mileage on a car used for hire, basically a taxi cab. There are a lot of people out there that are very confused and with a good reason. It's not that they're stupid or um, it gets aggravating because I've answered this question so many times. I will post a couple links in the description that you can follow and read this information from yourself. And these are from, one of them is from Intuit. I'm sure you heard of them. They're good with taxes. You know, they're the tax pros. And another one is from a guy that's got a lot of experience with accounting and taxes. And I've searched and searched. I had an article from the Internal Revenue Service that I had saved regarding using a car for hire and still being able to get a tax deduction. The thing is, the reason people are so confused is I believe it was in 2010 you were not able to use a for hire vehicle for a tax deduction. You couldn't write the mileage off. So either in 2011 or 2012 the tax law changed, and as of this year you're able to get a 56 cent per mile deduction. That is the standard rate, or you can do actual cost. The difference really, if you're using a small economy car, a cheap car, I really believe that the standard deduction is the best way to go. Now, if you're using a big, heavy vehicle or a luxury vehicle or something where, you know, cost of just basic maintenance, things like oil changes, you know, if an oil change is running you $100 and up, and tire rotations are, you know, just if it's a car that requires high maintenance, the cost of maintenance is high and it requires a lot of it, then you should probably go with the actual cost. But be prepared to have every receipt on hand for that, because remember, you know, you could get audited, and if you do, you've got to have records to back it up. I want to try not to make this video too long. I know I've got a bad habit of running them over 10 minutes, but I really would like to keep my videos under 10 minutes to help keep people's attention. But depending on how much you spend on maintenance per year would really determine whether or not you use the standard deduction of 56 cents per mile or you go with actual cost. You've got, with the 56 cents per mile deduction, basically everything is rolled into that. You've got your depreciation, you've got gas, oil changes, the regular maintenance, just everything is rolled into that nice little 56 cent per mile deduction. It's great. It's a beautiful thing. It makes things so much easier. And then you have the issue of, a lot of people are saying, well, you know, I use my car for Uber for business and I use it for personal use. So how do you work that out? It's simple with the mileage deduction, guys. It's so simple. Okay, write down your mileage. I do, and anybody that's doing this, you need to keep a log of your mileage. And here's the thing: you can't write off going to McDonald's and getting something to eat, because that's not a business expense. Okay, you're not. You're not going to use McDonald's eating while you're driving around as a business expense. You could, but I highly recommend that you don't. You're just asking for trouble. That is not a business expense. Soft drinks are not a business expense. Things that you provide your customers are bottled water. If you provide sodas to your customer, that's a business expense. That's a deduction. But as far as your car goes, 56 cent per mile deduction works great. You don't have to worry about how do I determine how much I used for home use and for work. If you keep a notebook in your car, you write down the date, write down the time that you started, basically the time you log in. From the moment you open your Uber app and you are logged on, even if you've got to drive 30 miles to get to, you know, the city that you plan on working on. If you're logged into the app, you are available to take rides, which technically means you are on the clock. You are then able to write down the date, the time that you started, and write down your mileage. When you're done for the night, write the date, write the time, write the ending mileage. You know, starting mileage, ending mileage. Just do that every day. I know it's kind of a little extra pain in the ass, but believe me, you need it. You need this log, because the IRS can't audit you, and if you don't have any records for your mileage, well, you're going to be up Schitt's Creek without a paddle. You could get some pretty deep shit. If you don't make a whole hell of a lot with Uber, but you drive a lot of miles, this is going to be a pretty interesting thing. I'm going to try it out this year and see what happens, but I'm almost certain that this is going to leave me with a net operating loss. I'm not even going to get into what that is and how it works, because, guys, this is my first time dealing with it. I mean, I understand the benefit of having a net operating loss is that I will not owe taxes for the year, but I don't know what other benefits or disadvantages that brings with it. It's something I do my own taxes. I do not hire anybody. I do not trust anybody with my bookkeeping but myself. I am a firm believer that nobody will take care of me the way that I take care of me. I'm that way on a lot of things. My cars, if it's work that I am comfortable doing myself, I have the time to do, the ability to do, I will perform my own maintenance. I will do most things myself. I've gotten a little lazy lately and, been taking it to Walmart, but a lot of things I just prefer to do myself because number one, I know that I did it right, and number two, I just know nobody's going to take the time and effort to treat my things the way I treat my things. Um, just one of those finicky things about Uberman. Anyway, we're over the 10 minutes, guys, so I'm going to cut this off. But keep in mind mileage logs. If you get nothing else from this video, please, if you're just using an Econobox car, just a cheap get-around car, use the standard deduction. It will greatly benefit you. More than likely, you'll come out not owing anything for the year that you drove with Uber, unless you just made some kind of hellacious gobs of money and didn't drive a lot of miles to do it. So write down your mileage, guys. Beginning time, beginning mileage, end time, ending mileage. Just keep track of those. And then at the end of the year, you can calculate that times the 56 cents per mile, and that's what your deduction is going to be. So if any of you guys out there have any more information on net operating losses, I've been on the IRS's website. I've been doing some reading. Tax law is complicated. Lucky for me, I'm fairly intelligent. I can understand most of it, but it's been like 3 months since I read it. So I've got to go back over it again. I know you can carry it forward, carry it backward, but if anybody's got a short answer to, what is this going to do to my taxes as far as me not owing, I believe I'm going to have a net operating loss of around $2,000. I don't really remember what I read, so I'm going to have to go back over it again. But if you've got a short answer for what this means, should I carry forward? Should I carry backwards? How is this going to affect my tax situation? Feel free to hit me up, message on here. And I'm sure a lot of other people are wondering this as well, because I'm sure I'm not the only one that's going to end up with a net operating loss at the end of the year. As always, guys, peace out. Drive safe, like, comment, subscribe, and Uber on.